Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live stream of the Michael Jackson auction. This is a little out of my wheelhouse here, but I wanted to give you an update on this Michael Jackson. I don't know if you saw my video a few weeks ago on the art of Michael Jackson, but there was a bankruptcy. And so the auction was canceled. This was a group of drawings he did. I'm scrolling through right now. Uh, he did in like the 80s and 90s with this other artist. And the other artist, they made a foundation. It was called the Jackson. Uh, what I'm blanking on this guy's name, but they made a foundation to try to do some good. And that foundation now has a lot of debt, and so they are being forced to sell this collection of drawings done by the king of pop himself. Welcome, It Can Be. Nice to see you too. So I'm not sure exactly how this auction's going to go. They have huge expectations. It could get a lot of bidders. It could get no bidders. If you look at lot one here, let me click on that. If you look at lot one here, this is basically giving people the chance to buy the whole collection and keep it together. So if somebody, and I think their expectations, it says starting price 1 million. I think their expectations are something like 45 or 10 million, something like that. Um, but if one person wanted to buy it all, yeah, I guess the estimate is what's that, 12 to 30 million. If one person wanted to buy every single drawing, they could bid on this piece and they get it all, and then the rest of the auction is over. So it is scheduled to start in just a couple minutes. These things do tend to start a little bit late. Um, I also don't know. I also don't know if this is going to be broadcast live where we can see an auctioneer and hear them, or if it's just going to be like an online eBay thing. So we'll find that out in a second. Also, if you'll notice, I am approved to bid. So please make sure that you don't allow me to bid because I sure as hell don't want one of these. But I'm sure it'll make some Michael Jackson fan happy out there. But again, so here's a look through. He did a lot of, we talked about some of the presidents he did in my last video, if you saw that. Um, Airplanes, he did doors and gates, he did some self-portraits. Lots of presidents again, and just some random auctions or random stuff. So let's hope they get started here in the next couple minutes. Let me know where you guys are located. Love to see where you guys are hanging out today on a Sunday afternoon. I am in Indianapolis, Indiana. It is absolutely beautiful. About 70 degrees. Okay, it looks like I'm going to switch this here to that. All right, so it looks like they're going to be starting shortly. The original ask is for a $1 million with an estimate of 12 to 30. So I'm going to be curious to see if anyone bids. On the next pieces, I think they're looking at like they're hoping for, well, the estimates on the drawings after this first lot. Again, this first lot will give you everything and then the auction's automatically over. But the second lot, they're hoping for $100,000 a drawing. And then I don't know, I'm guessing there's obviously reserves, like you would be able to get anything for $1 or $10 or $100. Munich, Germany, and Tampa, Florida. Tampa, did you do okay in the hurricanes this past couple weeks? Florida kind of took it rough. All right, so they are saying if you look at the red button, my registration has approved. I could bid $1 million on this. Again, I'm not. They might have. They obviously have internet bidding. They could potentially have phone bidders on this too. Um, in which case, someone could call and bid live with a representative at the auction house. And if they're not going to show video or do any audio here, it's going to be tough to tell exactly how they're doing it. But we should be able to see the bids come in. Will also likely do warnings, like if the lot is about to close, they will give you a fair warning. But right now, looks like they have 48 people. You can see the 48 next to the Michael Jackson drawing, watching, and they're going to be asking for $1 million. I personally think that's a stretch unless you are a huge Michael Jackson fan. So, okay, you can see now it's definitely no audio. No one bid on the first lot. So that means they're going to go through each individual lot with estimates of 100,000 to 1 million, which is quite one hell of a estimate range. We'll see if anyone bids on these. This could be a really short live stream because if no one's going to be bidding, oh, they did get a bid of 10,000. So I don't know if they would actually sell for 10,000. We'll find out here. It'll either say sold or passed. Fair warning means if you are going to bid, you need to do it quickly. They'll often do a fair warning and a last call. Looks like the bidding is about done on lot one. Let's see if it says sold or passed. They've got 52 people now watching the auction. They're going slow. They're clearly hoping for another bidder. That first bid could just be the auction house trying to encourage people. It might not actually be an actual bid. Excuse me. Fair warnings. So they say it sold for 10,000. We'll just watch a couple of these lots and see if that seems to be a pattern. And then we can all go out and enjoy our Sunday. They're looking for 10,000 on the second one, giving their fair warning. And again, their estimates on these are what? 100,000 to 1 million. It looks like lot 3, this kind of crooked door, did not sell. And they're on to lot 4. So I think their hopes for millions of dollars on this sale is probably not going to come true. It seemed a little ambitious. After my last video, I mentioned that there was the guy who did these drawings and helped Michael, their foundation, got in financial trouble, so they're being forced to liquidate. The guy behind it filed a personal bankruptcy in an attempt to stop this auction from going forward. So it went to court, and the judge ultimately denied his bankruptcy claims and forced this auction to go forward. So someone from this King's auction house where this auction is happening, it's in Las Vegas, had seen my last video on Michael Jackson and on his market. And so they sent me an email actually, and were the ones that told me that the auction is back on. Um, Looks like lot 4 got potentially one bid to bidder 902. I think that was the same bidder who won lot 2. Here's one of his thrones. Again, they're given lots of fair warnings. Well, I've got quite the international crowd today. Thank you all for coming. We've got Germany, we've got Prague, we've got Canada, and Tampa, Florida. All right, so that other one passed. So I don't think this is going to be the most exciting auction to watch. So I'll stick around for a few more minutes. If people have any questions, go ahead and hit the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. Um, I don't think that they're going to be making the millions of dollars they were hoping for. There are a couple of interesting things too. There's a couple self portraits that I thought pen. Yes, they are drawings on paper. I think it's pen, uh, possibly pencil or colored pencil too. I can't remember the exact medium, but yeah, they are works on paper. They are all original arts. These aren't prints, and these were done by Michael Jackson's hand. He In my last video, I talked about he went to visit the White House and he saw Ronald Reagan. And Ronald Reagan apparently gave him a big notebook of presidential note paper. And so I think that kind of inspired him. And when you see some of the presidential portraits coming up, they have the seal of the White House and the president on them. So um, I think he felt awfully important doing that. But as I was saying, he did do a couple of self portraits in here. Um, those might actually, I don't know, go for something. Looks like the rest of these aren't doing very well at all. Um, so the self portraits might be interesting. And then at the very end, the last lot, I'm definitely not going to make it that far. But the last lot is one of his thrones that he used in one of his videos. I'll try to find a picture of that for you right here. So everything else is all these kind of drawings, some portraits. So he does a lot of gates. He did some pieces of Neverland. Here is the throne. I'll put this up right now. Is that working? Yeah. So here's the throne. Um, which I guess if you are a huge Michael Jackson fan and like love watching his videos, you might want his throne in there. And here's some details. I thought there was a picture of the video, like where it. I guess that's it. So pretty. Oh, there's a lady in it. Pretty freaking ugly throne, but if that's your thing, that's your thing. So, but that's the last lot. That'll probably be coming up in an hour or two. Um, I think. Yeah, it looks like a lot of these lots are now just passing. So this isn't going to be very exciting. Um, any other questions in the comments? Do these auctions normally get more active towards the end? Typically, they'll get less active towards the end, as you'll see people will kind of get bored and start doing something else. Um, there's that number with the eye by it next to the left of the drawing that says, I think, 43 on it right now. That means 43 people are watching it. And I think as people realize that people aren't bidding, it's not very exciting to watch. So this one will probably uh, end with not many people watching, unless people are sticking around for the throne or for something else. So when you watch the big auctions like at Sotheby's and Christie's, they kind of time everything out and put their top lots strategically in the auction. They usually want their first auction to go really, really well, or their first lot in each auction to go well. And so they'll put something there that they can estimate at a lower price and encourage people to bid a lot. to kind of get the momentum going. And then maybe 6 or 7 lots later, they'll have another big one. And then maybe 6 or 7 lots after that, they'll have another. So there's kind of a dance and a rhythm to these auctions when you're putting them together. I'm not saying this particular Michael Jackson auction has any sort of dance or rhythm. It all just kind of seems to be dying. Um, but if you were to curate an auction and putting an auction catalog together, that's how you would want to do it. You try to build some suspense and keep it exciting. All right, we've got another question from a sports fan, the ATL Sports Zone. Hello, Atlanta. So, ATL Sports Zone asks, are these even worth $10,000? What's my estimated value on these? Um, to me, no. I would not pay $10,000 for a Michael Jackson drawing. I think artistically, he's got some skill, but they're just like any kind of student would do who was training to be an artist or who was in art school. So they're not terrible, but they're certainly not great. That the problem I have with trying to be able to estimate these is I'm more focused on the art world, and this is more appealing to the music memorabilia world. So even though it is art, the typical art buyer, the ones that are bidding at other art auctions, are likely not going to be into these unless they also happen to be a huge Michael Jackson fan. So from my opinion, the artistic merit of these is not worth $10,000. Certainly not 100,000 to 1 million like they put their estimates on there. But to a crazy Michael Jackson fan, who knows? If you had to have one, you had to have one. Like, if I was into planes and Michael Jackson, like maybe I get this one. It's not a terrible drawing of a biplane, but artistically, it's just not doing anything to push the conversation forward. So I think you're seeing that too, as basically nothing is getting bids. The way The way he signed them makes me feel he thought his drawings were fantastic. So they talked about when I was doing my research for the Michael Jackson video I did a little bit ago, they were talking about how they dreamt of these drawings, like traveling with Michael Jackson's tour and like being on a display in a museum or a gallery in conjunction like with his performance. So I think they really did have a pretty high opinion of them. um, the guy he did these with is a really kind of cheesy touristy artist. Check back on my other video and I put some examples on there too, but he did lots of like cats and wildlife and forests and uh, the kind of thing you might expect to see at like a Disney World gift shop. So certainly not my cup of tea. But yeah, here we go, guys. I think we can say this has not been a very successful auction. I think on that second lot, they said they sold one, but that could have been a fake bid trying to get us to think that people were bidding. You don't really know because you can't see the auctioneer live. So we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but we do know it's not going very well. So, guys, I think with that, unless you all just want to sit here and watch nothing sell in what's turning out to be a very boring auction, I think we can call that a day. I am definitely going to be doing more live streams for the big auctions coming up in November. So, we'll try to do an evening sale from Christie's or Sotheby's. And I promise you on those, there will be a lot more excitement. Um, and you'll see a lot of bidding. So I'll be sure to schedule those and put up some previews as soon as that happens. But until then, I've got another video dropping here either later today or tomorrow at the latest. So I hope you enjoy that. And I look forward to seeing you on another one. So Tomas said he just discovered the content. Looks forward to the next one. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. The channel's gone kind of a little bit crazy to me. I now have close to 10,000 subscribers, and this just started out as a place for me to talk about art. So I'm glad you all are here, and let me know in the comments on any of the videos what you like, don't like. It's definitely a learning curve, and I'm still trying to learn a lot. But again, thanks you all for joining me on the live stream, and I hope to see you all again soon. Cheers. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.